Hey guys and ghouls, welcome back to the Cozy Ghost. I'm your host October, and today we are going to be continuing First Snow. I didn't get very far last time, just because, it's a good game, but I got a little bored, I'll be honest. It was a long recording session. Whatever, we'll get back into it. No saves here! Did I not get to a save point? Do I have to start over? Oh my god, I have to start over. Alright. Hey. Be right back as I skip through all this. Okay, I think we're back to where we were in the last episode. Yeah, okay, cool. As I collapse onto the couch and settle in, the deafening sound of silence rushes in. The odd passing car from the street below the apartment only highlights the quiet of the room. Plucking my phone from my pocket after dropping my bag on the cushion beside me, I take a quick note of the time. I guess Rose got stuck in traffic. An annoying train of thought starts up once again as I put it away. One that's crept up on me occasionally ever since moving out, or just waiting for when nothing's around to distract me. I can cope with the schoolwork easily enough. It's mostly just review right now. People like Caprice might be a handful, but they do liven up the day's routine. It's a fair distance from campus to campus from here, but the walk helps keep me fit. The silence. That I can't deal with. Grabbing the remote, flicking on the television at least provides some background noise, but it's no replacement for the sounds of home. There's no mother busying herself over the cooking pot to welcome me home and ask how my day was. No excitable older brothers fighting about this silly thing or that. No father for me to happily see come home from work. It's just me now. My fingers roll over the screen in thought as it brings up the lock screen, mindlessly tracing out the cracks in the bottom corner. I could easily call them right now. My mom and dad both made it clear I could ring any time at all. But as I stare at the screen, a deep apathy strikes me. Before our college, I thought that with my family and old friends just a phone call away, nothing would feel all that different. Maybe I just couldn't admit to myself how big of a change this would really be. Admitting defeat, the phone ends up on the couch beside me as I watch the television. The news is interesting today, so at least it's some distraction from all this. Just when I thought I'd finally found a friend or two in college, it ends up being a mess. Why do people have to be so complicated? As the door behind me opens, I close my thoughts on the subject. There's no point in mulling things over further. Oh, that's where it saved. Act 1, Art Matters. Got it. I was so close, too. Oh. Well, we're going to play to Act 2 today. Probably, maybe, hopefully. The Saturday's morning air is brisk as I stagger back from the supermarket, hands full with bags. The apartment itself may be nothing to write home about, but it's certainly in a good location. I still don't feel like I've been pulling my weight when it comes to daily life with Rose, but at least I can help with errands like groceries. Her attempts to teach me handiwork skills have been less successful. Even this much has been a learning experience. My parents usually do the shopping back when I lived with them. Reaching the apartment, I find Rose crouched outside working on her motorbike. She looks perfectly content as she whiles away her time with tools spread around her, as if a child happily playing with her favorite toys.
Hey.
Working on the bike again?
Hey.
Oh, hey, that was quick. She levers herself up with a grunt before pulling back the edge of one bag with a finger to peer in, then another. I'm a little worried as she checks over my work. Having to hold my breath as she does isn't exactly helping. I'm still not used to the acrid smell of her smoking, but maybe that's a good thing. Good work. Everything we needed and no weird impulse buys. Did we need more window cleaner, though? You said to grab necessities if they're on sale and don't spoil, right?
Uh-huh.
You're learning. Could you help me down here once you've put everything away? I need another set of hands. Without anything in particular planned for today, I agree before heading inside. The rickety stairs creak as I slowly head up with groceries in hand, fumbling with the door handle. My arms are thankful for the relief once I manage to drop the bags in the apartment after opening the door. Opening the fridge, I get to work stuffing in the frozen and cold items first. Next, I open the cabinet doors and start ladling in the cans and boxes. As the empty shelves fill, I get an odd sense of satisfaction from caring for myself. Living as an adult is busy work, but it's rewarding in its own way. There's an odd, unexpected feeling of accomplishment from doing even simple tasks. I'm sure it'll wear off in time, but I'm holding on to it for now. With the job done, I close the cabinets and get back to look up around the room. The apartment is barely any warmer inside than out. I suppose there are downsides as well as upsides. Putting it out of mind as best I can, I head back down to Rose. Slipping back outside and closing the door behind me, familiar clangs and bangs carry on the air as Rose still works away. "Pass a rag, would you?" I quickly take a seat near her on a patch of clear snow, grabbing one of the torn-up pieces of old shirt and handing it to her. She seems to be cleaning out some part of the engine or other. "Anything interesting happened at school?" "Not really. The schoolwork isn't too hard so far. A friend wants to start a club." "A club, huh? That's cool. What kind?" "An art club, apparently. I'm not really sold on it, though. I need to study, and she'd basically come up with the whole idea by herself." Rose passes the rag back and puts the parts in place, motioning for me to hold it while she wrenches it back in. After a few grunts, the job appears to be done as she puts the wrench down with a clunk and turns back towards me. "Life's not about studying. I know you were a teacher's pet back in high school, but you could stand to be a bit more social." So it's this again. This is another downside of living here. With so much of my time spent alone with Rose, there's, for better or worse, no easy way to escape her questioning. I know she has my best interests in mind, though. I'm glad to have someone around to help me get grips with adult life, even if I find her intimidating at first. "What was your college life like?" "Never had the chance to go." I'm left a little surprised as she gets back to her bike. I've only known Rose for a couple of months now, so I'm still finding out new things about her all the time. Maybe you get why I'm on your case about this stuff now. Not everyone gets the chances you have, so make the most of it. Go to parties, get some friends, find a boyfriend sometime. Even if it doesn't last, it'll be a start. My family always pushed me to put such things aside and focus on my education, so that's what I did. The simplicity of life back then suited me just fine, and it worked out well going by my scholarship. I was never really interested in boys because I was so caught up in learning, is what I'd like to say, but I'm honest enough with myself to know that's not the whole story. Seeing Eileen last week reminded me of that. Women like her keep catching my eye, and then there was that painting of hers. As time goes on, the difference in what I like looking at gets harder and harder to explain away. Oh, she's gay. Cool.
Allison?
Rag, Allison. I hastily place a rag in her outstretched hand, Rose using it to try and rub some of the oil and grease off her hands. I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I'm not straight, if that's truly the case, but I'd like to talk with her about it. While I'd like to talk with her about it, I can never quite seem to find the right time.
You alright?
You alright? Oh, she's Southern? Fun.
Huh?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how life is complicated.
Whatever you say.
Sure is. Hey, you bought that ice cream I asked for a while you were out? It's in the freezer now. Why? How about we have some? Could use a treat after working all morning on this thing. She has strange ideas about what makes a good dessert in the cold of winter, but I'm not gonna stop her. As the two of us start packing up, another peaceful day rolls by. A loud yawn from Rose emanates from the couch, the droning of the television briefly overshadowed. The only other sound is the coffee pot boiling away from the kitchen, punctuated by the occasional passing car. Only half awake and still acting on autopilot, I lazily wipe the sleep from my eyes as I stagger toward the door. The smell of Rose's toast wafts invitingly through the air, making me envious of her later start to work. I let out a loud yawn before I can stifle it, causing Rose to look over from the couch. Oh, she's ripped and got a tattoo!
Hey.
Wow, you look like hell. Thank you. Stay up too late playing on your phone or something? Doesn't look like you got an hour of sleep. While Rose is less than tactful about this, it's true that I shouldn't be so tired. I'm usually a morning person, but right now I can barely remember where I even put my phone. Rose picks herself up from the couch as she finishes her breakfast, brushing toast and crumbs off herself as she starts towards the kitchen. Just the neighbors being loud again. I'm surprised you didn't hear them. I may say that, but it's hardly any real shock. She sleeps like a log, which I've always been jealous about. Rose puts down the plate in her hands, giving the matter more thought than I'd intended. The ones above us, right? Man, I'm sick of them. I'll go have a talk to him later today and get him to knock it off. Making a racket during the day is one thing, but the night's another. You don't have to do that. They might be quiet from now on anyway. She looks surprisingly disappointed at my attempts to wave off her concern. You have to stand up for yourself sometimes, Allison. Waiting for things to blow over ain't always gonna work. I wind up rubbing my neck and avoid outright answering. Apparently dropping the topic, she sighs and disappears into the kitchen after taking her plate again. I just don't want to cause a fuss, especially on my behalf. Is that really so bad? With time rolling by, I glance about and see my phone on the corner of the table. Slipping it into my coat pocket, I skip over and grab my bag sitting by the door. As I stretch a bit to try and wake myself up before facing the cold outside, Rose calls out from behind me. Turning to see her shows a fistful of crumpled dollar bills in the hand she thrusts towards me. Here, go buy yourself an espresso or something on the way.
Huh?
It's fine. You don't have to. Just take it. You look awful. She really does have a way with words. I reluctantly take the cash and slip it into my pocket, thanking Rose as I leave. As soon as I get out the door, the weather hits me. Looks like it's going to be a harsh winter this year, with the cold of the snow dumping down being made all the worse by the chilly fog hanging in the air. Twisting my head to and fro to bury it in my scarf a little better, I set off down the road with hands firmly lodged in my coat pockets. There don't seem to be many people around there that are braving the weather, not that I blame them. As the muffled sound of snow under tires rings out, a garbage truck rumbles by. It's only after a worrying few seconds that I remember I did indeed put the garbage out for collection yesterday. Reaching my campus, the welcome sight of a cafe nearby lifts my spirits. I've overheard students mention the coffee here is good, and it's conveniently right next to campus. It looks homely enough from the outside and only has a handful of people inside at this hour as I peer through the windows. With a quick brush of the fallen snow off my shoulders and bag, I take a breath and walk in. Alright, I'm gonna make a guess. Eileen is either in here working, like as a barista, or she's in here studying. That's my guess. Or we're gonna get a second love interest. A bell above the door rings out as I enter, the smell of coffee in the air combining with the homely styling inside making for an immediately cozy atmosphere. The oak tree. It's kind of pretty. Joining the couple of people in line, I quickly rehearse the order in my mind to make sure I get it right. The barista's nice smile toward the other patrons keeps making me trip over myself, and I've never been great in dealing with strangers. So it's not Eileen. Coming to the front of the line, I manage to blurt out my order of a latte with sugar before I can mess it up. She smiles and takes my payment, leaving me to wait to the side as it's prepared. I briefly consider having it here, given how relaxing the cafe is. Oh, that's before I notice Caprice loudly chatting with a tall man sitting across from her. I'm surprised I didn't notice them. I must really be out of it. I didn't even say that best friend would be there. As the cute barista slides the coffee cup towards me, I decided I'd better leave the two in peace and drink outside. Before I can, Caprice catches sight of me and begins excitedly waving her hand in the air.
Allie! Hey, Allie! Over here! Allie!
She's so excited. So much for that. Coffee in hand, I wearily walk over to their table and look from one to the other.
Morning, Caprice.
Wallace.
Hi, Wallace. Upon Caprice moving her backpack up a chair and placing it on the floor, I take a seat.
Allison here's a good friend and one of the founding members of the art club.
The new art club.
Oh, is he part of the old art club? This is Caprice's rodeo, so I'm content to let her deal with the club as she wants to at this point. Takes me a moment to realize she referred to me as a good friend in particular. We've only known each other for the couple of months since the semester started, but I'm a little glad she thinks of me like that.
Hi, I am some guy Caprice found.
Yeah, I figured.
He's our fourth member.
Real. As he sighs forlornly, all I can offer is a stilted smile in response. Caprice looked so comfortable in dealing with him that I assumed they knew each other already. Come to think of it, Caprice had no problem dealing with Eileen either, despite barely knowing her. I'm impressed at how she can talk to strangers with just the same confidence as friends. Maybe she even considers him one already.
So what'd you get up to over the weekend, Allie?
Just housework and errands. It's surprising how much time I spend on that sort of thing now that I've moved out.
I get what you mean. Thankfully, I split the work with my roommates.
She's got roommates? It's my roommate that makes me want to pick up the slack. Caprice looks to Wallace for his input, making him part of the conversation.
I look after the family gun shop on weekends. Nothing glamorous, but enough to get by on.
That's how you know that this is set in the US. Family gun shop. Caprice continues on chatting, mostly with him. Wallace quietly nods along, adding a yeah or I see as needed. I get the distinct feeling he's been being talked at more than being talked to. Now that we're both sitting across from each other, I can fully appreciate how much of a bear the man is, cutting more of a foreboding figure thanks to his beard. I can already feel myself shrinking in response. For want to not stare at him, I turn to the coffee steaming away before him. A flat black with the lid taking off to let it cool faster. I can taste how bitter it is just by looking at it. The conversation is suddenly interrupted by a phone going off. Apparently Caprice is, as her hand dives into the front pocket of her hoodie and retrieves it. Wallace and I just look at each other as she wanders off a few steps to take the call, unsure exactly what to do with ourselves. It only takes a few seconds before she returns.
Sorry, guys. Gotta go. Roommates need me.
What can you do?
Wait!
Wait!
I'll see you two around. We've got much more to discuss.
So either he's gonna flirt with Caprice eventually, or he's gonna flirt with us. Or everything I'm saying could be wrong. LOL. With that, she grabs her backpack and skips out into the winter air without another word. Going by her face, I'm more worried about this than she is. Left alone with Wallace, I sip my coffee for something to do. Glancing in his direction, he looks more relieved than
She
anything.
means well.
Yeah. I know she does.
Even if Eileen doesn't think so, I just have to keep telling myself that.
And now I'm glad I didn't say that. Much as I would like to leap to her defense, she is pushing this awfully hard. If he's trying to start conversation, I feel I should at least try to reciprocate rather than letting him twist in the wind. Do I get to choose, or does she just say
So,
things?
you and Eileen know each other?
That is so gay. That must be... Oh, he gives a nod after taking a long sip of his coffee. That must be so awfully
We're
weird.
friends. Met when she was a freshman in high school. Caprice saw us together and made the connection.
Oh,
She's filled me in on this club business. I'm going to guess you were pulled into it.
Yes.
something like that. It kinda spiraled out of control. Sorry.
Wallace simply shrugs.
Not the first time clubs have been pushy about scouting members. I was actually thinking the whole thing might be good for Eileen. Single-mindedness is her best and worst trait, really.
Cool.
I don't want to say please put up with Eileen, but I'm having trouble working out a better way to word that. She isn't a bad person, just driven. I'm sure you know someone similar.
I do shudder what her reaction would be to being told she and Caprice are similar in any way. I'm not sure about dealing with her, but it's hard to deny someone worried about their friend. Wallace seems content that he's managed to get his point across. Silence hanging in the air as he thoughtfully sips his coffee. Reminds me that I should drink my own before it gets too cold as well. The weather outside is a harsh contrast to the nice atmosphere in here, which might be why more students are starting to file in before classes start. The coffee's nice as well, so maybe I'll make this a regular spot, if I can afford to, that is. As for my companion, I think I'm starting to see him in a better way. He's just concerned about his friend. Maybe he's the gentle giant type who isn't that threatening at all. Wait, was she saying that he's a bear as in, like, he's scary? I thought she was saying he's a bear as in he's like a teddy bear. That's sad. With his cup empty as he sets it down, Wallace sits back to savor the last of its taste.
Well, I've said my piece. Caprice will probably give up on me, but you and Eileen are another matter.
Ha, lol.
Caprice is a good friend. I can handle her. It was nice meeting you, Wallace.
I carefully repeat his name to try and engrave it in my memory. I have no doubt I'd instantly forget it otherwise. He's It's perhaps overly hopeful when it comes to Caprice, though.
Thanks. You seem nice, so hopefully Eileen will ease off a bit.
He levers himself off the chair with a grunt, taking a glance outside before grabbing his scarf and hat once more.
Good luck with class.
Oh, he's a beanie.
Thanks. You too.
With that, he leaves the cafe while sliding past someone coming in, staggering through the terrible weather outside as he goes. With my next class so soon, I'd better finish this coffee up quickly. With that in mind, I concentrate on taking as big gulps as I can without looking unsightly. It's funny how one thing leads to another, though. Feels like a snowball has begun to start rolling, meeting new and interesting people since I started here. It might have taken a couple of months, but maybe I will manage to find some new friends. You got this, Allie! I believe in you! Ow, I just hit my headphones. Oh, is that the end of Act 1? No. Can't be. End of Act 2. With the weather turning worse and worse as the week went on, the library seemed as good a place as any to spend some time before having lunch. Unfortunately, it looks like I wasn't the only one who had that idea. While the library here is bigger than my previous schools, that doesn't matter much when a large portion of the students are dumped inside. While my first choice would have been using one of the computers, that is obviously out of the question. Worried about looking like a dork as I loiter around, I start walking slowly through the library. Thankfully, nobody pays me much attention while I glance from side to side for an empty table or desk. The students who are actually studying seem to be outnumbered by those gossiping with friends or catching up on sleep. It's only in a far corner of the room that I catch a familiar face, albeit not necessarily a welcome one. Eileen! Sits hunched over a thick textbook, occasionally scribbling into a small notebook beside it as her finger stops every so often on one important part or another. It's hard to tell if she's annoyed or just studying hard. She looks tired. I consider leaving Eileen to her studying and braving the weather outside before she rubs her temple and looks down mournfully at her notebook. That pose is all too familiar for any student. I feel a little bad for her. Given the vending machine problems and how she wound up with Caprice stuck to her, she doesn't seem to have very good luck. She might not be the friendliest person, but if I could help her a bit... With Wallace's words weighing in on my mind, I grimace and accept my fate as I begin walking to the otherwise empty table. She looks up and catches my eye as I come near, so I guess I'm committed to this now.
Afternoon.
Hi. My existence has been noted. I don't think that could sound any more perfunctory, but at least she isn't shooing me away. Setting my bag beside my chair as I take a seat, I pull out my phone to check for any missed messages and switch it to silent before placing it on the table before me.
Hey.
Surprised you're not in the art room. I don't live there, you know. Wouldn't it be more private than here, though? She lets out a long, miserable groan as her head sinks. Hardly difficult to work out what that means. Caprice wouldn't stop bugging me to join her drawing for some stupid theme. What was it? I wasn't really listening? Christmas scenes or something? She's barely even listening to me as she tries to wave me off. Caprice is probably scurrying around campus as we speak, hoping for me to join her as a drawing partner. Oh shit. What are you studying? Math. It's been kicking my ass, so I need to get my head around it for these stupid gen ed classes. Eileen barely lifts her head up from the notebook as she speaks. Looking over the table at her work, various practice equations cover the notebook's page. I have to admit, I do admire Eileen's drive. I was just going to pass my time in the library reading, but seeing her working away has made me feel a little guilty. You any good at this stuff? Math? Well, I ended up skipping the gen ed class thanks to my placement exam results. Someone spent their time studying like a good little teacher's pet. Nothing like that. Math and science are easy enough, so I ended up coasting along. I need to learn how to study now that I'm here, though. Eileen's eyes narrow. Maybe she wasn't exaggerating about her skills. For having such an easy time in high school, it's easy to forget that I'm the odd one out here. Of course, I'd put my foot in my mouth as I was starting to break the ice with her.
Huh?
I mean, if you want, I could have a look at your work. She's hardly enthusiastic, but shrugs and moves herself a little out of the way. My curiosity's gotten the better of me. Coming around the table and looking at the notebook from behind her, I take a gander at her notes so far. I'm really bad at math, so I can never. At least this is easy to read, given her immaculate handwriting. The more I check over her notes, the more the corners of my mouth drive down. She's done a good job of showing her process, and the first couple of questions covering expressions look right at a glance. When it comes to polynomials, however, the next two have odd leaps of logic, with the last meanders off into the wilderness. That's me taking a math class. I realize I should say something to express how she's done so far, but the window of time to say something even mildly positive to soften the blow has long since passed. So it's like that, huh? You got some of it right. That didn't help. Polynomials do seem to trip a lot of people up, so she isn't catastrophically bad at this. Still, considering the first semester of Gen Ed subjects is mostly reviewing what we did in high school, this isn't a promising start. That's kind of rude. Mind if I scribble on this a bit?
Sure.
Knock yourself out. I reach over to grab my pen from the other side of the table before hunching over her book and jotting down a couple of notes. First up were a few pointers to where the first two polynomials went awry, before taking a parallel crack at the worst of them. Pausing for a moment halfway to check the logic of what I'm doing, I'm satisfied I'm on the right track as I finish it off. The result looks about right. Eileen flips over the textbook page on cue to check my answer, looking a little dubious as she does so. Vindicated by the matching result, I feel a good bit of relief at not making a fool of myself in front of her. At least one of us has a head for this stuff. Does it make more sense to you now? She takes a thorough look at my scribbles on her notebook, eyebrows furrowed as she tries to pick up the reasoning. I can't help but glance between my notes and Eileen as she looks over them. If she didn't project an aura of wanting to be left alone all the time, just her looks and her style would probably attract people. I think so. You don't sound too sure. This is about as confident as I've ever get with math, so don't worry. I'll have to repay you sometime. Taking that as confirmation that my job is done, I return to my seat as Eileen leans back in her chair. It's nothing, really. You should ask your professor, though, if you're not confident doing polynomials. Needing to ask them doesn't mean that I want to. That's real. Given how frank she is, I guess this must be a matter of pride rather than shyness. Maybe that's where her stubbornness comes from. Why are you wasting your time here with me, anyway? Don't you have some friends to do friend things with? I only really know you and Caprice. Met Wallace the other day, actually. So that brat was trying to drag him into the club, too. Wallace may think it might be a good experience for her, but Eileen's disdain for Caprice is going to be hard to overcome. Hearing my phone vibrating on the table, I quickly pick it up as he has messaged me. I quickly force myself to keep a poker face as the name comes into view. She must have given up on art out of loneliness if Eileen's avoiding her and I'm here. I'm not terribly hungry, but I should probably get at least a sandwich or something from the cafeteria before classes begin. Hey, wanna grab something in the cafeteria? Tell you later. Oh, big news, Allie. Tell you later, Ryo. Da-da-da. This is now. Hey, wanna grab something at the cafeteria? Quickly typing in an agreement to meet there, I left the phone once more.
Hey.
I might go grab lunch. Wanna come? Sorry, I already ate. Thanks for the offer, though. She's already back to concentrating on her textbook as she mumbles the reply. It's probably for the best anyway. Giving a quiet farewell, I grab my bag and put my phone back inside. As I pull it over my shoulder, though, Eileen looks up. By the way, I don't blame you for any of this stuff Caprice is pushing. You seem alright. So I'm alright. Perhaps I should accept that as praise coming from her. Glad for our meeting having been somewhat successful, I wave goodbye and head out toward the cafeteria. The cafeteria is little less than full from the library. The stocks of food behind the counter are already running low on the usual student favorites. With the line for food moving quickly, I manage to grab the last set of sandwiches and move on. Scanning about, I notice Caprice sipping her juice, an empty tray before her. She sure eats fast. Glad for the company either way, I walk over and take a seat at her table. Hey, Allie! Long time no see! We saw each other yesterday. How's everything going? How are your classes? Not too bad. It's all familiar enough right now. Not that everyone's doing as well as I am. As I unpack my sandwich and begin to nibble, my thoughts turn to this woman in the library. To the woman in the library. I feel a little sorry for her. Eileen's struggling reminds me that I have it easier than some at times. Then there's the matter of her in the club. Setting my food back down, I decide to tackle this more directly than usual. If Eileen can be so direct with others, then so can I. I was thinking, you meant for me to meet Eileen last week, didn't you? Oh, I put that on. She's fun, isn't she? Yeah! She's really good, huh? No wonder the other art club tried to grab her. Well, how about Eileen? words stick firmly in my mind. We may meet every school day and talk quite a lot, at least she does, but I realize just how little I really know her in spite of that. Maybe spending more time together wouldn't be so bad after all. Yay! With time on my hands, thanks to the last class of the week finally being over, some quiet sketching would be a nice way to unwind. With that in mind, I make my route up to the art room. Studying would be the proper thing to do, but I'm just too burned out. Not that this stubborn cold helps either. While most classes are winding down, the professors are aware that the looming holidays are a big distraction. Others have tried ramping up their workload to try and cover everything in their semester plan. I might be keeping up, but plenty aren't. My bag tucked under my arm, I give a sigh as I stagger along the snowy path to the arts building. It would be nice to feel like I'm doing more than treading water, in class and socially. Stepping into the arts building with its string of decorations reminds me to look at the bright side. It's already the middle of November, so not long until Christmas and being back with my family. I'll be thankful to be back with them, even if the rest of the holiday period is I managed to angle around it smiling and chatting with a group of friends walking the hallway and start up the stairs to our balcony. Another success. I hate this so much, when people are just standing in the hallway talking. Like, get out of my way. I briefly wonder if Williams in our room as I proceed along the second floor hallway. Painting Charles seems to see whether she thinks of me just another pain like she used for Grease is in my mind. Opening the door to the quiet room, I can't say I'm surprised at the sight before me. Of course she was going to be here. Oh, this is a new painting. Eileen's eyes glance over as I gingerly shut the door behind me. Oh, I didn't mean to pause it. Oh, I can save the game. Save game. Need to pause. Oh, there we go. Eileen's eyes glance over as I gingerly shut the door behind me, ending in being the only acknowledgement of my presence at all before she goes back to her work. Curiosity about what she's painting gets the better of me.
Hey.
Is it okay if I watch?
Sure.
Go ahead. This is quite the angle, bro! She doesn't bother to look at me as she says it, but it doesn't sound reluctant either, so I scoot over and sit myself at a table as quietly as I can. Eileen's brush continues to flick to and fro as she works in the background. So this is what I look like! Oh my god, I'm so cute! And they like art? Anyway. So Caprice's no-show? She said she has to go do something with her roommates. Her shoulders slump as she sighs. Relieved. Do you really hate her that much? Believe me, if I hated her, you'd know. I'm just glad that I'm quiet. It's hard not to think that of a busy failed implication that I should be quiet as well. Wallace might not be wrong that Eileen means well, but that doesn't make her any easier to talk to. Something on your mind? You're really good at this. It'd feel weird to say I've been talking about Eileen behind her back. What I said is true though. I'm impressed she can carry on a conversation while working, and I like how her paintings turn out.
Thanks.
Thanks. Been doing it for a while. As a hobby? If everything works out, hopefully as a career. Artist or teacher, aiming for the latter. That does explain her persistence and working really to get better. Wanting to be a teacher though? She gives the feeling of a drill sergeant more than an art tutor. Tubes out. Eileen gets up and places her supplies back on the sill beside her, opening up the cupboard and feeling around with it. Before long, she emerges with a new tube of crimson paint in hand. Rather than get back to painting after closing the door, though, she instead turns to me. So what about you?
Huh?
Sorry? What are you doing once you escape this place? Oh, I don't really know. Still trying to figure that out. I feel like I failed the test as I trail off, but Eileen doesn't seem worried. Oh, shit. I actually have to save right here. I'll save over this one, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I've been filming for way longer than I thought. Yes, I would like to quit. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. Thank you so much. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye!